are you going in the back? My gosh. Are you camera shy? Yo, what is up? How you doing? Just want to say good morning. It's Saturday morning in the Pacific Northwest, if you don't know. And welcome to number two my vlog. And anyway, shoots, man. This is probably my third attempt. And first attempt is driving by, talking, just let things flow. And then second attempt is refining things. And my third attempt, I thought, now that I've clarified some thoughts, let's reshoot. And there's nothing wrong with going for a drive. Anyway, and you guys get to see what the other Vancouver looks like. There she is. That's Gigi. That's my morning partner. And in this case, normally we drop off the boy to school, my son, obviously, and then we go for the park. Go around this way. I think she thinks we're going back to the park, but we're gonna go home and cook, and I'm just gonna drive. Sorry to disappoint you. Anyway, let's get back on track. So again, welcome to episode number 2, and I'm gonna clarify a couple things, maybe not clarify, but expand on some things, or just introduce something new. Last episode was the intro. We're coming up, I may have touched upon this, we're coming up on the end of the year, man. Next week is Christmas, and well, next week's Christmas, and then New Year's Eve, right? You got 2 years. You don't know what other people are thinking or doing. You know, you guys, is there anybody out there who does like an annual review? You look at what went on in life, personal, financial, love, work. You do a review. Always done them, not in depth, but you said you finally decided to start doing the vlog, so I figure it's a chance to start doing things, holding myself accountable, and I talk about it and advise other people to do it. Man, you better start doing it too, right? So we're gonna takes me back to the topic of, what is it? Oh, about the end of the year, these New Year's resolutions and stuff, right? So I'm gonna take you back about 6 months, right? Back when I was feeling kind of low. I think I admitted, or whatever, I was going through some kind of depression, right? My Kavika up in Hawaii, he passed away, right? Young, right? Days after his birthday, man. I think this is coming up on this, we're past the 2nd year. It's crazy how time flies, So, of course, obviously, but that kind of me accountable. So, but not all on me. It's always on me. But that buddy, that extra friend for motivation, right? Because we would just telegram every day. What did you do today? Oh, I did this and that, and then, or today, or this happened to me today, or talking to my girlfriend. I'm married. He wasn't married yet. But the story short, man, we talked several times a week through Telegram. Sometimes just short sentences. How you doing? What's going on? Stuff like that. And anyway, like I said, he passed, and I work from home. I love it. I love my job. I work on the network team, more like firewall, cybersecurity, but I'm on the network team, not the cybersecurity team. I was, but anyway, all I'm saying, trying to get to, is that I've been working from home since the epidemic, and it's been a blessing and a curse, right? Because I do enjoy my job, and then it's like to look on the network just to see if there's anything interesting going on, right? That's just part of cybersecurity. You're curious to see, wow, is there any crazy going on? There's a vulnerability out there. There's some kind of new attack. I don't have all the same tools as the cybersecurity, but I can at least hop on the network and look at a few things. Anyway, I'm trying to get that, blessing occurs working, you're sitting there for hours, and you got to be mindful, right? And so let's just say things accumulated. I wait, and the heaviest of my life at the point in time, you recognize that something just wasn't jiving. It's like, man, what's going on? I want to go to the gym, but where's that motivation, the extra oomph, or whatever you want to call it, extra oomph? I kind of feel like I have Tourette's, and I'm not making fun of them. I'm just saying, add in the extra stuff, or emphasis, and I make those weird voices. Anyway, yeah, saying, man, there was an extra oomph, extra to get up and go work out, and it just wasn't happening. So I'm like, man, maybe hormones or something. And seeing those ads, I don't know, it's not like I'm searching that stuff out. I don't know, Facebook read your mind and shit, and I don't know, but Hone ads, Hone, I should get sponsored by you maybe. But long story short, went through the blood test. Yeah, it was low, and I'm like, yeah, screw it, man. I need to get moving. Let's do something. I mean, it was already like June, I think, right? So the whole half a year, and the whole past years, it's been like, oh, what's going on? You know, and right, it's like this, like, okay, well, I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm gonna listen to this Twitter space, and there's nothing wrong with that. I learned about a lot of things. But I wasn't as active. I gained weight. There's other issues, but long story short, I got on the treatment, whatever, right? So 6 weeks into it, you know, I'm feeling good. I felt normal. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna work out. Fuck yeah. You know, tired or blah blah blah. Whether it's mentally or physically, I just, you know, work out. And then I, you know, like up some training videos because I was trying to figure out some different things. You know, I used the bench. I like kettlebells. I like using mace. You know, a bunch of cool stuff. And other things by David Weck that look really cool too, right? And then also, right, let's go back. If you watch that first video, you realize that, or you may remember that I like doing Filipino martial arts. And I was part of a training group in Hawaii that was under Michael Tibbetts of the Dog Brothers. Not to expect you to know who that is, but the long story short is that, you know, met Kavika, right? And we would always, that's, you know, I don't remember, they do crazy stuff. They go out there and fight each other with sticks and kicks and headbutts and training knives and other stuff, right? The whole goal is, unless they go out there and beat each other with sticks, is that, you know, Filipino martial arts and a lot of other arts, you go out there, you train, you do all these things under high pressure circumstances. And part of the Dog Brother thing is that go out and test yourself, right? And then you kind of, I can't do this extra movement. I had to do this and this to get to this, to be able to pull this thing off, right? So that's part of the Dog Brothers learning experience. The long story short is, you know, went out, he earned full Dog Brother status, right? I never did. I got to candidate and stopped, you know, reasons. But you know, the goal is, right, ever since Kavika passed and things kind of was like, man, I need to get back to it. In honor of my friend, right? Or I feel like, you know, I don't know how to express it. Do I want full Dog Brother? Yeah, of course. You know, in that kind of world, there's a lot of people like, yeah, I'll be Dog Brother, but you got to show up and scrap. And then, you know, people outside of Filipino martial arts, like, man, who the fuck is that? So, you know, like your favorite music artist, you know, like in death metal, nobody knows who the favorite top death metal guys are. But hitting back to the whole reason, right? So, yeah, I talk about old man still can. You know, it could be a long journey just to get ready, to get to the shape that I feel I'm comfortable at going head to head with somebody with some sticks and kicks, and somebody who's probably going to be more skilled than I am because of their ground capabilities. I think I'm all right with the stand-up. But again, right, we always talk about old man still can, but I also understand that there will be limitations, right? That's just life. But at the same time, I could always still do the best, right? And this kind of goes back to, you know, a great time to be alive. I'm talking about TRT replacement, or, you know, man, I don't know. Well, you know, only available to the rich, you know, I don't even know when it came, in the average consumer. You know, what, 5-10 years ago he started seeing stuff, and even then there's I'm sure it's pretty expensive. And anyway, all this nonsense, right? So let's jump forward, right? So I'm thinking about 26, 20, and you know, I'm on YouTube about, you know, other things, and then I come across a video about peptides, right? I've always heard people talking about it, but you know, I like to ask a lot of questions. I just like to try to research on my own before asking the questions. And I came across a really cool video of a doctor talking about 20 of them or something like that. I don't know. And long story short, I started looking into it. And because before, so I started my shots, right? The test shots. And then I had my physical. At that time, I learned I was like 320. Did the blood work, but by that time, I think I was already like 3 or 4 weeks or a month into the shots, right? So the doctor was surprised. Like, whoa, I didn't tell him that I was doing tests. And anyway, so he was surprised, and I told him, yeah, this, and we really cool guy. As long as I give him sound evidence of what I'm trying to do and why, he supports my, right? He's not trying to talk me out of stuff, unless it's like a bad idea. But he's my age, he's a fit guy, he's into firearms, he's, that cool stuff. So I've been fortunate to have found PCP like him, right? Because like I said, I have some videos, and again, I'm going to go back to ChatGPT, right? What a great tool, man. I can, these other little, I'll just call them plugins, but they're called GPTs. I don't know what, name is, but, like a specialized ChatGPT. I'll say right? It's for a specific function, right? So somebody created this one that'll analyze or summarize YouTube videos, and it's great, right? Because then I can summarize it, I can have ChatGPT summarize it, and then I keep it right in a specific folder, right? ChatGPT has grown, so now you can have projects. So now I have a ton of projects, right? I got my personal, my health, I got other things. I'm not totally relying on it, just in case you people are like, bro, you crazy? You relying on AI and blah, blah. It's like, no, I'm not relying on it. I'm using it as a research tool. Then, I can send messages to my doctors. I don't send them like 2 pages of long emails. I just ask him this, and this, and he responds, or we set up an appointment. And yeah, thank you, God. Thank you. I'm fortunate. I'm grateful that I got insurance in this time and space and date and world. People don't, or they're struggling through something. So thank you, God. I appreciate it. And to my employer too, right? So right, I found that video, started doing research. I think he brought up Zepbound, right? Because they're working with other patients who are on it, because he's like, yeah, you should try this, Zepbound or something, because you got sleep apnea, right? I didn't know the requirements, right? Well, at least my insurance requirements, right? So I guess Ozempic, that's more for people with diabetes, right? And then Zepbound and was it Monterey or something like that is with my insurance. Like I said, you have to have what do you call it? Sleep apnea, right? And which I do. I got obstructive sleep apnea, and so we could try that. I'm like, yeah, I forgot, about it. And then about a week later, I'm like, what? It's getting closer to the end of the year, and that's where I decided to go for it. It's like, time to pull the trigger. Let's get 2020, get the ball rolling now, right? And if you follow me on Twitter, then you kind of mindset that I'm trying to follow, and then I'm also sharing on Twitter, right? That's just part of it, like to avoid and hope people follow you and listen, and a bunch of followers, but that doesn't mean they actually follow me. But I do appreciate those who respond and reply and like and repost and all that social media stuff. So anyway, long story short, and I'm going to come up with another cool use case I'll show you, right? Let's go for a doc when he's all right and he put it in, and anxious, so I'm checking on things, and I can see that he put it in, right? He put in the request, and other things. I'm looking, like I said, I'm kind of anxious. So I'm like, find out, right? If is it going to go through? Because that would be super dope, man. I would love to get back to, I don't know. When the last time I was 180. 180 could be really skinny for me, as I have Psalm 1. Big guy. I'm only 5'11", 5'9". Yeah, my tourist part. Tell the truth, 5'9". But anyway, so what am I talking about? Boom, boom, doing stuff, doing research, and then it was cool. I have all insurance portals operate this way, but I was poking around, I could see, whoa, you have a request, and that it's pending. And then what? I was looking at something else, look up the drugs, and you can kind of look requirements. I was able to find a document that listed out the requirements, right? And it's like I said, I'm back. This is like a school use case of ChatGPT. So I like that document because it told me what the requirements are, right? And I said I had sleep apnea. If you have sleep apnea and you have a BiPAP, them come, or maybe all of them, I don't know, the app, and that tracks your patterns, right? And so it was cool, right? So I I read the requirements, I put it in the chat GPT, and then I said, here's the requirements for whatever the name, Zepbound slash, I don't know, starts with a T, sorry. You'll see it in the name of the video or in the details. And then I asked it about a requirement. It said something about some other things. Again, I'm sorry. There was some verbiage in there that made me think about my app and how it tracks stuff. So I took screenshots from my app or a report. That's cool, right? I ran a report from my app and it showed me like yearly and all these stats. And then I put it into ChatGPT, right? And then I said, can you match my stats up with the requirements and match each, the requirement and tell me, do I meet the requirements? Oh yeah, fire. I'm gonna quiet down. That's pretty loud. 7. That's funny, man. Kind of funny talking about this stuff and my brother Kavika. But they're busy pretty lately, especially with all the storms going on. Anyway, I took all this data, I put it in the ChatGPT and tell me, data and marry it to these requirements and give me a report to show me that I meet all the requirements. Did it, and I exported it to a PDF, and then I uploaded the thing, screenshot of requirements and the PDF from my app, right? And I sent that to the doctors, right? So it's been like almost 2 weeks pending, and this is wild, right? And like I said, answered that specifically answered a paragraph that answered each requirement that into my document. He gave me a report and told me how I meet the requirements. I attached that to a message, and the doc forwarded it in, and the company, and man, I got approved like that day. I sent it that morning. I guess they sent it that day sometime. I checked the next day, and it matched the time I sent, not the time, but the date I sent the information. So again, right, I know there's a lot of people out there like, oh, ChatGPT, it's just for cheating, and you can't believe everything he's saying, but man, there's so many really cool use cases, man. And that was a good one, right? That was a perfect one, I think. Anyway, maybe it could be another cool video, right? That I plan in the future. But long story short, so now I'm on the test, and I'm on Zepbound. This is my 6th week of going into it, so I'm on the lowest dosage. Still, I was figuring things. Let's just take it at a time. In the videos, you watch about a lot of people's journey. They do like a month, and then they, with all this titrate, that means they go up to the next level. I guess, the levels that they go up, they incrementally go up, right? So the next level would be, I don't know, 5 milliliters, 5 milligrams, So I don't want to get caught up in a minutia right now. So the next step, and I was thinking, well, let me back up. So like I said, I'm 6 weeks in, and I went from like 3 to 290, right, within 5 weeks. This will be my 6th, and I'm maintaining, right? So I think I got one more shot. I'm a little bit off because I messed up one of my injections, right? I was so silly. I was watching a video, right, just to make sure I was doing everything right. Comes in this neat little tube with a button, and you got to take this thing off, and you just press it, and you hit the button, and like an idiot, I was like, okay, I'm ready, and then I forgot to take the bottom thing off, because I put it on my stomach, then I hit it, and I'm like, man, weird, I didn't feel anything, and I sit there, right, everything happens really quick, and then I looked at it, I'm like, oh man, I left the gray thing on, and I pulled it off, and then stuff went everywhere. I'm like, fudge. So actually, like, one off, complete of 8 weeks. So anyway, that's a different story. So watch those videos. It's not hard. It's just silly things. And you know what? This stuff is expensive. I'm lucky that the insurance is covering it. A lot of people are paying out of pocket, and it's wild because I don't know. It seems like they're giving away Ozempic. I'm not saying that it should be free, but I'm just kind of surprised at the requirements. That's all, and then all the things that people are going through, etc. Long story short, if you don't know how it works, and I didn't memorize all the details, but basically it slows down digestion, does some other things, like eliminates what people call food noise. You know, week, like, I didn't experience any side effects. The first week, what is it? Oh, maybe a little bit gassy, but you know, and all right, we're always gassy. But yeah, everything's been great. The hunger thing, it's wild. Just last week, I easily fasted for 24 hours because I had to do the blood test, right? It was that time. And I didn't do the full 24 hours. It was like 8 when I ate the next, right? I fasted from 9 p.m. the previous night, and my appointment was around 3. And then, you know, I'm home, completed a couple of other things, and then, you know, dinner. And it wasn't until about 8 p.m. until I actually ate something. So, and you know, I feel hungry. I didn't feel like, oh my gosh. So the things that has done for hunger is really wild. And I know people talk about how the food noise gets eliminated, and I guess I never really paid attention to that. Maybe it wasn't food noise, but it was a food voice that I listened to. You know what I mean? But you know, now that I'm in the 6th week, now it's like that I need to eat. Not necessarily because I feel hungry, but because, right, one of my goals is to put on, or to at least get back into shape, right? So I'm lifting too, right? So I need to keep the protein. I know I'm going to lose fat and some muscle. That's what's going to happen. That's the process of using this medicine. It's called medicine. And so I need to keep my protein intake really high. And where am I trying to go? So, you know, I'm necessarily thinking about food like, ooh, smells good. I desire food because it's really good and it's hitting some kind of trigger. It's like, I gotta eat because I don't want to lose my gains, right, at the gym. So, I mean, just sitting around and trying to eat. I think a lot of people on Zepbound are doing it. A lot more people may be in a lot more worse shape than I am. But I'm thankful that I could be on this, you know. 2026, we'll see, you know, we'll start participating, but it may not be till fall. I don't know. I'm not trying to rush stuff, but I'm also stuff, right? You could say I'm kind of taking a shortcut by taking the TRT and the Zepbound, but you know what it is. You know, my health has improved. I'm not saying I felt any kind of, you know, I'm going off into the next plane of existence, but you know, weren't operating correctly. That's all. This wasn't feeling like me. There's something that was going on. So the TRT helped improve that. So there's definitely something about the hormone. That's funny. Hormone. This is my brain. Now that I've said Tourette's, I'm kind of like, but yeah, I'm in disbelief. Men's and hormone health and all that stuff. I'm just saying, the TRT does more than just the feel like a man. I guess it makes you feel like yourself. There, you know. That gives you some clarity, some, you know, a lot better, and you know, extra step or something. It doesn't matter. You know, need it, eat it. If you don't, you don't. Then the Zepbound, yeah, I'm stoked to be losing all this weight. And I want to lose more, but I also got to put in the work, right? You're just not going to go out there and swing the sticks and I think your cardio is going to be on point, or you're not going to get tired and stuff like that. So, you know, long story short, I'm just putting in the work, man. I want to get things done. You know, I'm going to go back to the point of, it's an amazing time to be alive, man. You know, these medicines, these things that can, you know, I don't know. I'm getting caught up on things because, you know, I'm taking a shortcut. But yeah, fuck it. I got stuff to do, man. Stuff I want to accomplish. Right? Part of the whole thing of, Old Man Still Can, and I might have covered this, you know, I wanted to do t-shirts, key patches, well, wanted to do something, maybe a journal, you know, wanted to make it just like, oh, here's a, you know, throw together this journal and, you know, let's sell it as a book on, what's it, on Amazon, right? I mean, that's a cool thing too, but there's behind this. So long story short, part of this documentation is Vlogging will be about the journey of the testosterone, the TRT treatments, the training, you know. Oh, man, if I cover this, then I apologize, but, you know, the man still can is such a cool subject, and it's a mantra. You know, how other people feel about it. Sometimes I hear people tell me, damn, that's cool, I like it. But, you know, it could be just being nice. Okay, it's about 30 minutes, man. I've been jibber jabbering. I've been informational, maybe some entertaining, And as I drive around and talk about this stuff and share this journey, you know, I gave you some background noise, maybe something filtered in, maybe it inspired you. You know, you get better and do better, be better, make better content, crypto related, whatever, anything, because old man still can. It's just a mantra, you know. I'm gonna go back, right? There's gonna be limitations, but there's nothing to stop you from learning. I get it, financial restrictions and all that, you know, a negative side, or not a negative side. I always try to think about the cons. I'm very fortunate that I can afford an iPhone. I can drive, I can fill my tank with gas and not worry. I'm cruising around with my dog in the back. She's probably tired of it. And I'm video, man. I'm fully aware that I am in a good state, no matter what I feel like. I feel like I don't have enough money because I can't get that, but here I am driving around kind of you. There's so much to be grateful for. And you know, I got a wife, I got kids, I got a good doggy, and yeah, man, feeling down, look about. Don't go and walk about, look about. And I think you'll find you have plenty to be grateful for. And let's be good people to each other. Alright? And I'm gonna end there before I start going on something else. Alright guys, take care. Shoots.